like
syrup, and
like a
food
movie
coloring.
clip, put like this in the bottom half, like literally
Then
some fucking
dextrose,
shit
a
like
type
that.
of powdered sugar. The pan rotates for 20 minutes as warm air dries the ingredients over the centers. The factory repeats this step 10 times for each layer. Talk about a sweet ordeal. Making a jawbreaker takes 4 days. Workers give this batch special treatment. They speckle these jawbreakers with different colors, giving them what this company calls the psychedelic look. After letting the candies dry for 24 hours, a worker adds pinches of powdered carnauba wax. This gives the jawbreakers a shiny finish.
Nuke is a pretty good one. What's the map on Wingman?
Sliced open, you can see these jawbreakers have 10 layers of flavors and sugar surrounding either hard candy or bubblegum cores. They measure 2 1/4 inches in diameter, as big as a billiard ball. And if you're counting calories, forget it.
3 times in a
A
row is kind of
jawbreaker
crazy.
is
I got a
90%
bad feeling.
sugar.
Oh, all right, we're good, We're big shit.
Guess we can make some maps there for that one.
Preach, brother, preach.
The doll just may be the earliest
Give us
recorded
one.
toy. There's archaeological
guys, yeah.
evidence that in ancient
Yeah.
Greece, Rome, and Egypt,
Aren't some
people
of them
made
like super
dolls
cheap
from
now?
available materials,
Yeah,
such as
they're like
clay,
fucking
wood,
cheap.
bone, and leather.
They're
But
worth
doll
it.
manufacturing began in Germany in the 1400s.
Actually get one there.
This French company has been handcrafting dolls since 1860.
Oh fuck.
The materials have changed over the
He's right on
years,
that.
but the doll making techniques have essentially remained the same. The body parts are still cast in traditional copper molds. The factory makes one line of dolls out of tinted vinyl. This pinkish color is for Caucasian dolls. However, the factory also makes black and Mediterranean dolls. Each tray holds the 6 molds required for a single doll: head, torso, arms, and legs. The worker sets the machine to fill each one with a specific quantity of vinyl. He closes each mold with a twist cap. He tightens each cap with pliers to prevent leaks. Then, he places the molds in an oven at 410 degrees Fahrenheit.
I lit him up.
Throughout baking, the oven rotates the molds in 2 directions to ensure the vinyl spreads evenly inside the mold cavity. He removes the molds from the oven 7 minutes later,
Soundtrack.
That shit haunts me
then
in my
submerges
sleep.
them in cold water for precisely 23 seconds. This stops the baking and solidifies the vinyl.
Speaking of fire,
The worker uses pliers
Bro, I'm
to
outta
remove the
here.
caps. Then switches to a pair of needle nose pliers to grab each cast vinyl limb and yank it out of the mold.
Actually goes into it either.
To remove the head, he pierces a hole to release trapped air. Then, with a stick, compresses the head just enough to pry it out.
Oh, he's I
The vinyl is still flexible. As it cools, it will become more rigid, yet still soft enough to stamp out eye sockets and implant strands of synthetic hair. This factory makes another line of dolls out of colorless polyethylene granules, mixed with ground tinted polyethylene left over from the molding process. The molding machine melts the granules, then simultaneously extrudes and inflates the liquid poly into a balloon, which the mold shapes into a specific part. This mold makes the torso. Workers simply switch the mold on the machine to produce a different part. A worker snaps off the excess polyethylene. These are the leftovers which get ground up and combined with new colorless granules. As the polyethylene cools, it hardens. That's why these dolls have molded hair and eyes, which are later painted.
Dude, hit him with that molly.
Each part comes out of the mold with a glossy finish, and a seam where the two halves of the mold match. A worker buffs the part against a felt wheel rotating at high speed to wear down the seam. But this discolors that area in the process.
Oh!
To make the surface finish uniform, the parts tumble in a rotating drum filled with sand for about 7 minutes. The sand rubs against the surface of the part, removing the shine and discoloration. When the part comes out of the sanding drum, its uniform surface is seamless, smooth, and matte. Back to the vinyl dolls now. It's time to address that bald scalp. This factory uses hair stitching machines from the 1950s. Before that time, hair was glued to the head. The hair is nylon and comes in a range of shades.
Okay, right there.
This machine's thick needle repeatedly pierces the vinyl, stitching on the strands as the seamstress moves the doll's head in concentric circles. Once the head is completely covered, she parts the hair, then stitches on more in the middle to add thickness and height. In addition to soft vinyl dolls and hard polyethylene dolls, the factory also makes combination dolls that have soft heads with hair on hard bodies. But all types of dolls become more lifelike as this process continues. Dolls are recognized as an important contributor to the development of healthy children. Dolls give kids children of their own to care for, a chance to emulate their parents and engage their imaginations as they feed, kiss, and cuddle their dolls and lullaby them to sleep.
Push.
These vinyl dolls have what are known as sleeping eyes. When a doll lies down, its eyes close.
Keep shooting.
Before installing the eyes, workers warm the head with a heat lamp. This makes the vinyl flexible enough for the press to lodge the eye into the socket with a shot of compressed air.
Fuck!
The eyes are made of metal and plastic. Once installed, they often require a slight adjustment, so the doll isn't cross-eyed.
Fucking Giuliano, I don't think
For safety, molded pockets inside the head hold the eyes securely in place, so that children can't pull them off.
This is bullshit.
These vinyl dolls have painted hair. The painter applies the hair and facial colors with an airbrush. There's a different stencil for each model. This one has light brown hair and eyebrows, a pale pink mouth, and rosy pink cheeks. All the paint is non-toxic. Polyethylene dolls get some extra pampering with a manicure and a pedicure. The assembler takes a thick length of elastic, ties a large knot at one end, then with a tool, pokes the knot into a hole in one of the legs. She threads the other end of the elastic through holes in the torso and pulls until the leg and torso are connected. Then she knots the other end of the elastic and pokes that knot into the hole of the other leg. She repeats the process at the top of the torso, connecting the first arm, the head, and the second arm with the same elastic. This traditional assembly method makes the doll's limbs and head movable.
You wanna play anything else?
Workers here have been assembling dolls this way since 1860. This is the last of what were once many factories in France handcrafting dolls.
For sure. I haven't played that in a while.
Traditional operations are fewer and fewer worldwide, as most dolls today are mass-produced in Asia.
What side are you?
The assembler makes sure that the limbs and head move properly before sending the doll to the next department.
None of y'all know about, bro.
Meanwhile, other departments are producing a range of outfits and accessories. Before dressing and packaging a polyethylene doll, a worker has to wipe it down, as buffing down the seams left a layer of plastic dust.
Yeah.
This doll comes in a ballerina outfit, white tights, pink leg warmers, pink ballet shoes with
Hey, you ever
flowers and
played
ribbons,
Project
of course,
Zomboid?
I have not.
and a pink tutu.
I think that's a pretty interesting game you'd fuck with too. But it's one of those games where like everything
Although there
has a
are no
consequence.
hard and
like
fast
you
rules,
climb through the window,
doll
broken
collectors
glass,
usually
you might
prefer
cut
the
yourself.
hard polyethylene dolls,
You eat,
while
yeah,
the
like, you
softer
eat expired
vinyl
food,
dolls are
you make it
designed for
sick.
children.
Have we ever played Left 4 Dead together, bro?
Nah, I
After
don't think
putting
so.
the finishing
I mean,
touches on
maybe.
the
I used to
outfit,
play a lot with
the
Jules.
dresser
Really.
brushes and styles
Maybe
the
I
doll's
got maybe
hair.
at one point.
This little ballerina wears a pink bow in her ponytail.
Yeah, we like just downloaded a bunch of Steam mods.
All the clothes
stuff
are
fucking
removable
Steam
to
thing.
allow a child to change the
Download that
doll's
shit.
outfit.
Dude, those are just stupid
The
ass shit
last
on
step
there.
before packaging is to hang an elegant,
Those
color-coordinated
games are pretty fun,
manufacturer's tag
Yeah.
on the doll's right wrist. They may be wearing today's hairstyles and fashions, but these handcrafted dolls are a testament to a toy-making tradition that goes
You can
back
make, like, the
centuries.
Blu-rays of fucking, like, Peter from Family Guy and shit like that.
I think
This
you
edible
had
money
that.
is a symbolic treat. In some parts of
I
the
think
world,
he
chocolate
screams
coins
or
are
some
stuffed
shit.
in Christmas
He
stockings
makes
to
noise.
celebrate the charity of St. Nicholas.
He would like always be
They're also
fucking
handed out
shit.
to Jewish children during the festival of Hanukkah to teach them the value
Play
of money
GTA
and
online
charity.
anytime this week to receive Halloween spooky tea, Halloween fruit bag.
Chocolate coins don't have any purchasing power, but they do buy a lot of appreciative
Oh, did you
smiles
see that
from the
whole
kids.
thing on TikTok about the GTA 5 lore?
They start
No,
with
what?
giant chocolate bars.
That
Each one
that I
is
guess
10
that
pounds of
I don't know
pure
if you,
chocolate.
did you ever see like when all those theories were coming out like about the
The
shit on
worker
Mount
transfers the
Chiliad,
big
about the
bars to a
UFOs,
kettle.
like,
Oh,
It's
yeah,
a kind
yeah,
of
like
double
the-
boiler.
yeah.
Hot water
I don't
bubbles and
remember
steams
exactly what the
inside a
theory,
sleeve
but I
shell to
definitely
heat
watched
and
the video
melt
on
the
that
chocolate.
shit.
There
Yeah,
are
like
2.5
ages ago, that
tons
shit's
of liquid
old.
chocolate
Yeah.
in this kettle.
Yeah, I guess that they
The
solved
machine
it,
now
but it's
pumps
like
the chocolate through a long pipe with
I think
different
it had
cooling
something to do with
zones.
like
The
that
chocolate
there's a little
thickens,
bunker
but not
under
to the
Fort
point of
Zancudo that you
solidification,
can access
a
in one of the
process
missions,
called tempering.
and it's
It
an
causes
FID
the
lab,
chocolate to form
and
a
they built
precise
the
crystal
oppressor, they
structure
built the
for just the
UFO,
right texture and
and they
taste.
built like all that other
The thick
shit,
liquid
like, all that
chocolate
high
flows
tech
onto
shit.
a conveyor
Uh-huh.
that brings the
And then,
chocolate under
I
a
guess what they're
broad
stating
blade.
that on the Mount Chiliad thing is that the UFO is the FID, and that I
The
guess
blade
they're like the
levels it to a
all-seeing eye.
specific
It's not like
thickness
aliens,
and
it's just
spreads
it's
it
the government
evenly,
basically.
creating a long
Oh, yeah, I
sheet
can
of
see that.
chocolate. The chocolate now begins to coagulate and
It's
harden.
like some shit like that.
To spur that process,
makes
it
sense.
travels through a refrigeration tunnel that is
Like
approximately
I guess the
15
aliens
yards
maybe are
long.
made from them or something.
This journey transforms the liquid chocolate into a
Makes sense
soft
with it because I think the
solid.
UFOs say FID like the. I think the
Next,
one on
they
that
clean
there's
and
on Mount
prepare the
Chiliad,
dye.
you're like 100%
It's a
sure.
spring-loaded device that works cookie cutter style to punch out
Have you
round
freaking
blanks.
looked at
There is one big difference. Each cutter is long and tubular.
Oh yeah,
So
dude.
as
Oh,
it punches
you have
out
like
the
this
chocolate
alien
blanks,
costume.
they accumulate
I think I have an
inside.
albino one.
how many people do you have in your lobby?
Oh shit, I just joined you.
Oh shit. Oh my bad.
The lattice work of leftovers journeys
Yeah, I was
forward
gonna ask
to
you
be
the
remelted
creatures
into
in
the
there, 'cause
process.
I like to attack the
So
creatures.
not a crumb of chocolate goes to waste.
Yours is actually full. Let me
Oh,
check
shit.
real quick how many creatures are in my
Yeah,
locker.
bro. We need creatures.
We gotta find these.
At the end of the line, dozens of coin blanks have stacked up in
We'll
each
just,
magazine.
like-
And piles of
we'll just, like,
leftover
taste them
chocolate
and
have
use, like, the
accumulated in a
baseball
bin that will now be transferred back to the melting pot.
We gotta lasso them.
Now it's time to print some chocolate money. To do this, they wrap the chocolate first and then emboss
to
both the
dumpster
wrap and the
real fast.
chocolate blanks simultaneously. Here's how it works. Sheets of glossy gold foil travel between rollers to establish an
IRL.
even tension. Ahead, a forked
Let's
arm
see.
moves
I
two
got
chocolate
28
blanks
people in the
between the
lobby.
foil
How do I
sheets.
know which people are
Piston-like
creatures?
knives
Stay on
move
the
in
ground.
to
Just-
wrap,
well, just
cut,
look at,
and fold the foil
just,
around
like,
the
look at
blanks.
their
The forked
characters,
arm
like,
then
dressed
delivers
in
the foil-wrapped blanks to a die press.
Joker's work
It
as
stamps
well.
designs on both sides of the coins, making an impression on the foil through to the chocolate. The chocolate, although solid, is still warm enough to receive the image. Removed from the machine, Here's what the die heads look like. These are used to emboss chocolate coins with American penny markings. As for the foil discards, they don't end up on the scrap heap. Instead, they accumulate in a bin to be sent out for recycling.
There's a Joker.
Alright, let's get it.
They make 150,000 foil-wrapped coins a day.
There's a Joker. There's 2 Jokers and a pumpkin head.
To change the currency type, they simply switch die heads.
It's about to get active.
Chocolate coins can be made in many sizes, with a range of different illustrations.
Oh, maybe it's in
The coins now spill out onto a conveyor
either the
that takes
bunker or
them
the
to a bin.
the SecuroServe van.
Oh shit.
Or the
All that's
the
left
gunsmith
now
or
is
some
the
shit.
packaging, which will be the traditional mesh bag.
They be dick riding the gunsmith on God.
From start to finish, it takes less than an hour to make a chocolate coin. Gold dollars or $5 poker chips. Every day, it's a jackpot of chocolate money at this factory. So there's never any shortage of edible cash. Only decisions to be made. Poker chip or chocolate penny. You could always flip a coin. Animatronics is the construction of robotic puppets that move in a lifelike way. You often see animatronic characters in science fiction movies, theme parks, and haunted houses. Please be advised that this segment contains images that may not be suitable for younger viewers. When it comes to the horror genre, the more gruesome the animatronic character, the better.
Bro, is there somebody named Sussy Skibbity in here?
Meet Crazy Kristen. She starts out as a hunk of
Somebody
clay.
named Sussy Skibbity?
Her creator sculpts her form on a vertical
Give
table.
me this guy's address now.
Once he finishes her
Jarvis,
shape,
bundle his
he
bones.
switches to finer tools to craft her gory features.
Jarvis, give me his location.
Airstrike his house.
He uses water and a sponge to give her skin realistic texture.
I really just be chilling.
Once the clay is
inhaling
hardened,
exhaust fumes
they
and
lay
shit.
Crazy Kristen on her back and drown her in gypsum plaster.
You got a whip?
In an hour or so,
Yeah, I'm in the
plaster
Gallivant
sets, and they
Baller
remove the sculpture,
STD.
creating a mold from which they'll produce multiple Crazy
Dude,
Kristens.
that thing's fucking goated.
The mold is quite
This thing
heavy,
looks nice.
so for easier
It's
handling,
stock. I
they
gotta
sever the body in
upgrade
two.
this motherfucker.
Then they'll fill each mold cavity with
Is it like the
liquid
SVR,
latex
like
rubber.
the fast one?
A 3mm skin
Ooh,
soon
we get
hardens
pink
against the
match
mold
trim.
cavity wall.
That looks kind of good, actually.
They suction out the remaining liquid latex.
Maybe I'll pull out my baller as well.
You're gonna pull out your balls.
Meanwhile, they weld together a steel skeleton, a grate for her rib cage, a strip for her
I
spine,
think you're gonna fuck with the baller. I'm gonna leave it
chains for
white.
her arm bones, ball bearings for her joints,
Stainless.
and steel reinforced rubber for her neck.
Yeah, these are nice cars. Wow.
So far, Crazy
Oh,
Kristen
dude,
has skin and bones.
things gotta look sick
Now
as
she
fuck.
needs flesh. They fill each mold cavity with expanding polyurethane foam. To control the expansion, they cover the top with a plastic sheet and guide the foam with their hands.
I don't want to change
The lower body doesn't require an inner support structure because it's immobile.
on my way.
Just steel chains in the legs to hold them in place.
Oh, dude, no way.
This thing is sick, actually.
Dude, my shit's about
Once
to be
the
all
foam
white.
hardens, it's
The
safe to
Susanto
extract
knows
Crazy
that,
Kristen's body
laser-
from the molds.
Oh,
Dude,
it's fast.
These NPCs.
They trim off
dude,
excess
when you drive
latex
around,
along
how,
the perimeter.
when did you last play this game?
Then
been a-
set her
it's
upper
been a,
body
like,
on a
it's
large
been a good
swiveling
minute.
ball bearing mounted on a vertical metal base.
I like a year.
They insert a pair of rods through holes in the base. Each rod is bolted to a
Like
plate sitting on those
purposefully
ball
crashing
bearing
these
joints in
guys
her
with
skeleton. The other end gets welded to the base.
I think it's
Some
worse.
fucking bullshit.
These
It's worse
cylinders
now,
are
I
pneumatic,
swear. It
meaning air
didn't
pressure
used to be
opens
that.
and closes them. making Crazy Kristen
But
thrash
now
about.
they'll like literally go over an entire
It's all
lane
controlled by this digital
to
device they mount on
just
a guitar
randomly
amplifier.
turn and crash
It
into
sends
you and
electric
drag it
pulses
past
that control the pneumatic cylinders. An actress
honestly,
records
that's
the
kinda
accompanying
infuriating.
shrieks and
you. It's
moans.
fucking weird, dude. I don't even know. I don't understand. Why do
They
do
transfer the soundtrack to the digital control box. The box
Scary.
triggers the sound effects along with the movement.
I wouldn't want to live in a world like that.
It's time to apply Crazy Kristen's makeup. For her skin colors, they use a half-and-half mixture of house paint and liquid latex rubber.
I'm gonna change the color of
For
yours.
her eyeballs, they use off-white opaque ink.
What color is yours?
Then they
It's white.
airbrush
It's
the
the one
iris
right next to you. Do you see it?
Oh. I'm in the mod menu
and
now.
paint in the pupil
oh, I
with
do
the
see
stick
it.
end of a small brush.
Yeah.
You gotta see the front though, because everything's like white. Everything's paint matched. The roof,
A
the
few
side,
veins with the red pen.
like everything.
Airbrushed ink on her mouth guard.
Looks
And
pretty-
finally,
looks pretty
clear
clean.
epoxy over her eyeballs to make them glassy.
I think outside it's gonna look nice.
They top her off with a wig, mount her lower body to the base, then complete her look with a
Those
straight
pop
jacket.
those look nice.
Because Crazy Kristen's home is the insane asylum.
During the medieval era, axes were more than tools. They were terrifying weapons
Dude, who
that
the
could
fuck
inflict
keeps revving
very
the
deep
shit out of their
wounds.
car?
Today, craftsmen still make battle axes for use in the entertainment industry. The medieval battle axe was a brutal weapon. With a single blow, it could break through a knight's armor and fatally wound him. To produce an authentic replica for movies and TV shows, the blacksmith consults reference books. He sketches the axe head design on paper, roughing out the details to the desired scale.
Why don't I got full limo tint? Nah, bro, I want them to see.
He cleans up
the
pieces of
anime.
old carbon steel, which he'll combine with other metals. In total, there will be 75 metal strips of varying composition. To complete the mix of metals, he cuts an old blade made of nickel steel alloy into
How come a
equally
lot of
sized
those?
strips.
They need to add more wheels.
He loads
Or did they?
37 strips into a vise.
They kind of did, but they still kind of look like shit.
Yeah, the
He tightens
lowrider
the
ones are like
vise
the only
and
ones they
tack
added.
welds them together.
Did they add any more?
He sands the welded stack.
Because like I think
He
honestly the
rubs
stocks
oil
look
into
the
the
best on
stack
this
to
car.
prevent oxidation. Now,
I mean, but I don't know.
exposed to
I would want
intense heat,
something else.
the
I put
metal
some
layers
off-road
forge
tires
together. He spreads a mix of borax and other minerals called flux onto the surface. This deters oxidation as the forging continues with the pneumatic hammer.
I kind of like these actually.
The hammer slams the layers together to become a solid laminated block.
My color and shit.
It's ready to be transformed into the axe's cutting
That
edge.
actually looks dope.
Repeated strikes pinch the metal in the center. He sprinkles the flux mixture onto the surface of the metal
Oh,
form,
low grip tires on
heats
this.
it again,
Sheesh.
and folds it into a C shape. After a reheat, he inserts a layer of carbon steel in the center for the blade. He hammers the
Yeah, what
C
the fuck
shape
is going
flat,
on?
Scary.
leaving the pinch section round for the handle.
Let's Hunter.
The 75 strips have been forged into one.
Dude, I don't like how it's making my screen look.
Next, the power hammer refines
Shit,
the
this shit got
handle
my shit
knob.
throbbing.
He drives a steel stake called a tapered drift into the center of the knob. This forms an opening for inserting the wood handle. Using the power hammer, he now flattens the blade end of the axe head substantially. He flares it to form a cutting edge and removes the excess with the plasma cutter.
Ooh, I can get low grip tires on there.
He saws it off, and the result is fierce. The axe head has taken shape, but it needs some refining. He hammers the handle area to spread it wider, and dips the axe head in water to cool it down. Then he grinds the blade thinner using a belt sander and rinses off the residue. He grinds it again to get rid of any hammer marks or oxidative scale. The different metals react when dipped in acid, creating a swirl pattern on the surface of the head. The first bath was contaminated, so he polishes it off and gives the axe head another rinse in plain acid. After heat treating and tempering, he polishes the face of the axe and hones the edge. Next, he grinds spiral grooves into a piece of oak for the axe's handle.
Yeah, I want this red shit to get off my screen.
A colleague staples the entire handle to accentuate the carved spirals and enhance the grain of the wood.
That's all this
Once
thing's
it
missing. It had a
dries,
tinted
the
windshield.
blacksmith wedges the axe head onto the handle.
Looks so badass.
A few strikes against the steel block improves the
Aw,
fit.
even outside it's like this.
Finally, he hammers upholstery studs onto the handle to simulate the rivets that reinforce the original medieval axe handles.
Aw, dude, what?
Is there like an event happening?
This medieval axe
Nah,
is
this is
ready for
crazy.
action.
What's going on?
Medieval axe replicas
Dude,
are authentic
dude,
props for any TV show
You didn't
or
tell me
movie.
they get down like this, dude.
Handled carefully, no one will get
Do you have
hurt.
good low grip tires?
Yeah, you gotta hop in this shit, dude.
Should I get the low grip
Cocoa
tires?
beans
too?
are the
We could fucking
primary
Try-
raw
try it
material
out,
for
and if you
making
like it,
chocolate.
go put
They
them
come
on.
from the
I
fruit
know
of the
it's
coca
probably
tree,
when I see it.
native to Central and South America.
Oh my god.
It's
The
pretty
ancient
similar to
Mayans
yours,
would grind
though.
them up to make a special beverage for
Nah,
marriage
she was
ceremonies and
nice.
other rituals. Today, coca is cultivated in the rainforest areas of many
Shit.
countries in the tropics. These
It's fun
coca
as fuck.
beans from Costa Rica were cultivated without
can
the
damn near
use
do
of
that to any
chemical
car now, can't
fertilizers,
you?
pesticides,
Yeah, I
or
guess so.
fungicides. Farming
That's pretty
coca
cool.
organically requires meticulous care and maintenance of the crop, along with grafting techniques to
Yeah, I
help
think I'll probably
establish
keep mine. It's
disease-tolerant
hard
tree
to do.
varieties.
Fuck.
The farmer cuts a budwood, a young branch about to bud, from a healthy, productive tree,
bro, let's get
and
into
grafts it onto a sucker growing from the base of a tree, which is either diseased or old and
Like
unproductive.
to do things.
She cuts a slot at the top of the sucker,
There's like to
then
do
wraps a
things,
plastic
yeah.
strip around the budwood to hold in moisture until the graft takes.
He's downtown.
Next, she cuts a pointed
Let's go
end
get
on the
him.
budwood and inserts it into the slot she made in the sucker. Then she binds the union and covers it with a plastic bag. Bagging protects the graft against two potential extremes: dehydration and excessive rain, which causes rot or fungus. If the graft takes, the union seals itself in a month or even
Pull
sooner.
him out and beat him up.
Strategic pruning strengthens the tree
I'm gonna
and
whip
keeps
out.
it growing low and in a shape that's easy to
I'm gonna
maintain
whip out
and
the
harvest.
broomstick.
Before long, flowers begin to bud and bloom. Tiny beetles pollinate the flowers, after which tiny pods, the tree's fruit,
Let's look
begin
up
to
my
emerge.
I'll make light work.
The
of them.
pods grow and grow
Hey, we gotta do a lowrider build off after
and
this.
gradually change color.
Alright.
When the color transformation is complete, they're ripe for harvest.
Yeah, that is the fun part.
There are
about
many
you do
varieties
get
of
bored,
coca
you can
trees
start
with pods
customizing
of different
shit.
colors. It generally takes about 5 months from first
Oh, is it
blooms to
the
pod
beach
maturity.
now? That's Spooky Beach.
Come harvest time, they collect only the pods
he's
which
moving
are
pretty
undoubtedly
fast.
ready.
Yeah.
If a pod isn't fully ripened, the cocoa beans inside will be acidic and bitter. They
There's a guy in
carefully
the
cut the
mobile
pod
operations
stem off the
center
branch
just
without
driving that
damaging
shit
the tree
around.
in the process.
Oh, did he leave? Oh no.
The pod's rind is a little over an inch thick. It's rough and bumpy. They hack it open with a machete to remove the fruit inside.
Oh, dude.
The fruit is made up of a sweet, edible
Is that a
pulp,
UFO?
encasing
I think he's
30
getting
to 50
abducted.
large white
the
seeds. These are the
You see
cocoa
that?
beans.
No, let's abduct him first. Wait, no. Is that even over him?
The beans
No,
and
it's not
pulp
over
go
No,
to the
it's
fermentation
not.
area.
I see him
Where
right here. Look,
Workers lay
look.
them in boxes or heaps
Should I knock him off his
and
bike or
cover
not?
them
I'm
for
gonna wait
4
till
to
you get
6
here.
days.
Oh, wait. Okay. Oh, I'm right over here.
As
He
heat under the
thinks I'm
cover
chill.
builds up,
fermentation
I'm gonna
kicks
take my
in.
wife to the
The
UFO.
natural
What?
sugars interact with oxygen. The pulp slowly
he
breaks
crashed his
down,
bike.
liquefies, and drains away. The color and chemical composition of the
Hey, should we
beans
go to the
change,
UFO?
and they become less acidic and develop a
Wait, how did
chocolatey
I
taste.
kill him?
The next step
You
is
hit
to
him with
dry
your
the
car.
beans. Workers spread them out on big trays and lay them out in the sun for about a week.
Why would
Here's
you
what a
make kill him
cocoa
like
bean
that?
is like wet.
What is, bro? There's aliens everywhere.
Versus dried.
You think the guy modded this or not?
No, I think this is. I mean, I saw this in the loading screen.
The dried beans now
Like,
go through a selection
alien
process.
invasion or
Workers
something. Oh, shit,
examine
there's a
them,
UFO over here.
removing
I'm gonna
pod
go to this
remnants
one.
and any beans with mold or other imperfections.
Ooh, I gotta hit the mask store. I haven't seen
Beans
the new
which fail
mask.
inspection are
If there
sold
is any.
locally at a lower price, or go to the compost heap.
Think
Beans
we
that
gotta shoot it
pass
down or
are
something?
weighed, bagged for export,
Visit
and
your nearest
sold to
pizza
chocolate
to
makers.
deliver pizza for this restaurant. What?
Depending on the
does that
size
mean?
of the beans,
Deliver
which
pizza.
varies
Oh,
according to
shit.
the cocoa tree variety, it
Wait,
takes
hey, let me
about
hop in.
300 to 600 cocoa beans to produce
Oh,
1
fuck.
kilogram of chocolate.
The unspeakable has happened. Actually, I might be able to get my car out. We'll see.
Yeah, it's
I
not
don't even think I
the
can
story,
climb
is
out of here.
it? Oh fuck! Wait, yeah, I don't know actually.
Halloween is a time for parties and trick-or-treating,
Oh,
Oh,
and many events
Holy
require
shit.
a
Spawned
proper
over there.
costume.
how'd you get out of there?
For those
Oh,
who
I
choose
died.
the warrior look,
What?
a latex sword can be the perfect addition to that Halloween costume.
that shit broke.
These weapons sure look like the real thing.
Wait,
So
it
much
broke
so
even after
that
you
this
got out?
company also sells them as
Yeah,
film
it
and
gave up
theater
on me.
props.
What's that blue dot?
But as
Yeah.
menacing as these axes
Can we
and
get a
swords
pizza?
appear,
Oh,
they
bro.
couldn't even hurt a
Shit.
fly because their blades are made of
Let's
latex.
go check out these aliens real quick.
In the weapons workshop, they begin the sword-making
Oh, what-
process
can I
by
go with that?
constructing the
Should-
blade.
Should we go on foot?
After
Oh, actually,
tracing
okay,
a
we drive
template
up
on
here.
a 4/10 of an inch thick piece of flexible waterproof foam,
perfect.
they cut out 2 blade halves with a utility knife. After slitting one of them down the middle, they glue in a rigid 4/10 of an inch thick fiberglass core. This makes the sword blade stiff enough for combat,
does this
yet
mean?
flexible enough to not break.
Can we get abducted?
Next, they glue a strip of durable polyester fabric over the
Oh,
core.
holy shit.
This acts as reinforcement,
Oh.
preventing the tip of the core
No
from
fucking
poking
way.
through the foam.
Alright!
I'm going
Now
up.
they glue the second blade half over the
Holy
first
shit.
one, sandwiching the core.
Ooh, where does it take us?
I'm curious.
The glue is a rubber-based
Oh,
adhesive
look, this is
that
the thing.
bonds
This
with
is the
pressure
place.
that they apply with a heavy marble
Oh, why are my
rolling
boobs
pin.
out?
Whoa, what the fuck? Where am I?
Next,
I think we're
using
in
a
the
band
FID
sander,
bunker and
they
we're
sculpt
saying
the blade's
kudo.
cutting edges.
What the fuck? No, I'm not. I'm just naked in the middle of nowhere.
Then they remove
Oh,
the foam
I
residue with a
fucking woke up
rotary
in a
tool.
lab.
Bro, I got the shit ending.
Next, they take a wood-burning
I
iron
see
and melt
scientists.
the
Alien
foam in
costume
select
and
spots
fucking dumped
to
me.
create the look of battle
This is
scars.
bullshit. Give me my alien costume back.
Then
Hey,
they
where
spray
am I on the map
5
right
to
now?
6 coats of latex rubber. This forms a
It
protective
says
shield over the
here-
foam without hindering the blade's flexibility. Next, using an airbrush, they apply 2 coats of acrylic-based latex paint. First black, then silver. They brush on a thick coat of black paint, then wipe it off. This wash, as it's called, creates the look of
What
aged
the fuck
metal.
is that?
I don't see you on the map actually.
And finally, they lightly dab some
Oh, there's an
silver
alien
acrylic
egg in here,
paint
dude.
over select spots
And
to
the
highlight
railgun,
details.
the one from story mode.
Can you pick it
think-
up or?
From foam
No,
to
never
main
mind. I think
component
it's
of
the
a lethal
alien
weapon
blaster.
in
The
just a
laser gun?
few easy steps.
It's like behind a door. I don't
They
think I can
finish
go
off
in
their
there.
handiwork by stenciling on the company logo
Dude, you go
in
find
gold
another
acrylic
UFO so we
paint.
could get in here.
Yeah, let me try to get in there.
Now
This is
for the
pretty cool.
sword's handle. They drill a
I
hole
think I
lengthwise through
this
a
is
cylinder
this
made
is
of
the, oh,
walnut
there's a cat in
and
here,
glue a
dude.
steel
What
tube
the fuck?
inside.
It's a little
Then they
ginger
glue
cat.
leather around the wood.
Damn, I'm in the middle of the notes. I'm nowhere. There's no fucking UFOs out here.
And wrap a leather ribbon around it for decoration.
Wait, did it spawn you like in the country, like
Yeah. Over on the west side of the map.
To give it a worn appearance, they lightly sand parts of the surface.
I see some.
To make ornate handles, an artist first sculpts a model out of linden wood.
Oh, dude, you gotta do a little puzzle.
Using that wooden model, they cast a silicon mold. Then they pour rubber into the mold to cast a handle. For that
think you have to
leather-covered
find a
wooden handle,
crowbar
they
and
cast
open
only
this
the
box
components above and below it in rubber. After trimming off the excess rubber, they paint it to look like metal. To assemble the sword, they glue the handle components onto the core, which protrudes from the base of the blade. First, they position the guard. It stops the opposing sword from sliding down past the blade and cutting your hand. Next, the handle. And last, the pommel. It blocks the end of the handle to prevent the sword from sliding out of your hand.
I'm on my last chance to complete this puzzle, dude.
Each sword
I think
this
if I fail
workshop
it, it kicks
creates
me
comes
out.
with a scabbard, a protective leather sheath. They boil and wax the leather to make it rigid. The workshop also makes daggers and other realistic-looking weaponry. All you need to bring out your inner warrior. There's nothing kids love more than candies they can pull and stretch, which probably explains why gummy candies and licorice have always been stick-to-your-teeth favorites, except with parents who don't have a family dental plan. Everyone calls this red licorice, but there's actually no licorice root in it. The ingredients are wheat, sugar, and corn syrup, with red food dye and both artificial and natural strawberry flavoring. They cook the mixture for 2 hours at 216 degrees. This
Oh,
slowly
no,
forms
dude.
a thick paste.
I got kicked out. I'm gonna have to respawn.
They cool it down, then put it through extruders.
Yeah.
The
It's a
extruders work
sequence
like
puzzle.
icing nozzles, shaping the paste
Let's
into a
see.
design
I'm gonna use the
such as
bathroom
the
real quick while this
twirls
shit
we see
fucking
here.
gets-
A water lubricated knife slices the continuous strips into 7 and 8 inch lengths. The water also rinses off any licorice buildup on the blade. The cut licorice goes on aluminum trays. The stacks of trays then go into an oven to dry for 8 hours at 140 degrees. As the excess moisture evaporates, the licorice shrivels. Workers weigh the correct amount of licorice for each package.
It spawned me out here. I think I'm Polito Bay in my underwear.
Sussy Skibidi is having an aircraft made at LA Airport.
Oh shit. We pulling up?
To make gummy candies, they use what are called printing boards, large sheets with raised shapes.
Yeah.
It
It says a CEO that
To
you
make
can
gummy
spawn your
worms,
shit
for
fast,
example,
isn't it?
they mount the gummy worm board
Or
on
no,
a
or
stamping
what is it?
machine.
just an
The machine then stamps the worm shapes onto trays of cornstarch.
Oh, that's where it is. Yeah, there it
This
is.
creates a series of cornstarch molds for the gummy worms.
Oh, I'm pulling up an over live.
While that's
Wait, where
going
does it
on,
spawn?
another machine mixes
wish this
gelatin,
stupid ass
sugar,
filter would
corn
get
syrup, color, and flavoring, and cooks the
Yeah, that
mixture
shit
at
is fucking
240
dog
degrees. A machine called the depositor pours the mixture into the cornstarch worm molds. The
Oh, I
molds
have the
then
sun
go
gun.
into
You
a
have it?
refrigerated room. In 12 to 15 hours, the candies
know. I
cool
don't think
and
I have it.
solidify. A A machine then flips the candies out of the trays. The cornstarch molds disintegrate. As they fall downward, the machine sifts out the lumps, then recycles the used cornstarch into new cornstarch trays for the next batch. The candies go through a cleaner. As they spin, air nozzles blast off the cornstarch. The next drum coats the candies with mineral oil to make them shiny.
You just wait till you see what I'm in. Quite
Children
frankly,
love gummy
I don't
bears
wanna,
because they're
I
gooey
think you're
and
gonna be
slippery
jealous.
and wiggly. But it's not just kids who are hooked on them. Many fishermen actually use them for bait.
Oh my, drops some shit.
It's like the
Before
smallest
packaging
aircraft.
the candies, the workers weed out any
You
that
know the
are stretched
Starling?
out or stuck together.
Oh my, I just
Wonder if
crashed
they
it,
get
bro.
to eat the
This
rejects.
little like fucking.
The average person has
Ultra
5
thing.
1/3 quarts of blood running through
No,
their
no,
veins.
not the
Out of this
propeller
blood
one.
come 3 products that can save lives.
But it's like a little,
Red blood
it's like a little
cells that
plane.
carry
It can drop
oxygen.
bombs. It's like one of the
platelets
smallest.
that help stop bleeding, and plasma, a
like
protein-rich
hella
liquid
tiny.
that
It's a
helps us fight
one-seater.
infection. Hospitals need all blood types to help them save lives.
Oh, I
One
have
day,
to wait
your
2
life
minutes.
could depend on donated blood.
It's the what is it called? The LF-22 Star.
In this setup,
think
an
it's
automated machine collects the
It's really
donor's
fast,
blood
too.
and
The
separates
other
it
ones have
according to
jet-
which blood
jet
product
booster.
they need.
I think
The
that one-
collection machine draws whole blood from a donor's
Wow,
arm
there's cop
and
cars.
separates out the mixed plasma and platelets, which is the color of straw. In every setup, some blood is diverted into a pouch for
Why
testing.
can't I just buy it?
In this method, they're collecting whole blood that will be separated at the lab. A worker then draws blood from the pouch for testing at the lab. Meanwhile, the machine mixes the whole blood with an anticoagulant so it won't clot in the bag. The donor's blood samples then go to the lab, where they determine the blood type and test for infectious diseases. This high-volume, high-quality blood testing machine is unique to the blood banking world. Fully automated, it helps ensure the safety of the blood supply by testing donor samples for things like hepatitis B, C, and HIV. In 8 hours, it runs 5 different blood tests on 1,000 donations
All right, I'm
without
running this.
human intervention.
Are you there?
They just killed me.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, bro.
What the hell?
Between each of these tests, it sterilizes every single
That's fucked
probe
up.
in a wash solution. Another machine determines the blood type, of which there are 8. They scan the donor's collection bag and document what products they will produce from the blood. Then they weigh it. Overnight, gravity causes the blood to separate into its 3 components. So a worker remixes it, preparing it for machine separation. She then packs the blood in the bags for the other components into what's called a liner. She makes sure the liners are balanced and will put a rubber weight inside when she needs to. Balancing the liners keeps the centrifuge machine spinning properly at 4,000 RPM as it separates the blood into layers. She then hooks up the unit of separated blood to an automated extractor and once again matches the unit with the donor.
I'm coming in hot.
The extractor fills a bag with just red blood cells. As the machine fills the bag, it leaves behind a mixture of blood and platelets in the original container. As it extracts these red blood cells and leaves behind a portion of blood and platelets, it also fills another container with pure plasma. An incubator keeps the processed platelets well mixed. They only have 5 days to use these platelets. However, they freeze plasma and can use it for 12 months. Finally, they filter out the white blood cells from the red blood cells using what's called a leukoreduction filter. They also introduce an additive solution into the red blood cells and mix it all together. The additive helps the red blood cells survive for 42 days, both inside a fridge
After
and
we
during
kill these
transportation
motherfuckers,
to
let's
the
try getting in that
hospitals.
bunker.
How do you get in there?
The UFOs.
Oh yeah, just.
But I don't know what you get. I think you get the stun gun from it, or you get some. Oh, the UFOs disappeared.
Oh shit. I still have this fuck ass filter on my screen now.
Uh-oh. What the? Did your game freeze? Oh, what the fuck?
As early as the 1400s, Africans made peanut stews. Peanut butter as we know it today was invented in 1890 by an American doctor. He used it as a
Oh, wait,
protein
but me-
substitute
yeah, me
for
too.
people whose
And I
teeth
still
were
got
so
this
bad
fuck-ass
they
filter
couldn't
on.
chew meat.
Oh yeah, mine's gone.
The best peanuts for making
Yours
peanut
isn't
butter
on?
are runner
Mine's
peanuts
always gone.
because they're uniform
Dude,
in
my
size.
shit's
They
still
roast more
on.
evenly than peanuts that vary in size. They arrive at the peanut butter factory already shelled.
that shit on, man.
To make an 18-ounce jar of peanut butter, it takes 20 ounces of peanuts. That's about 1,100 peanuts. The first step is to roast them. The nuts travel through a hot air roaster,
Hell
heated
yeah,
to
bro, this
399
thing's fire.
degrees Fahrenheit. The shaking motion moves them around so they roast evenly.
Oh, it gives you the shocker.
Almost 4 tons of
Shock- what's a
peanuts
shocker?
go through this
Oh,
roaster
the
per
little-
The
hour.
melee weapon, the stun baton, yeah.
When they come out, they've turned from white to light brown.
Oh, this stream's fucking filthy, man.
Next, they go
Single
into another
person as well.
machine, which fast cools them at room temperature, using suction fans that
My
circulate
man is
air
straight
quickly.
running it up. Tap in
This
with my
rapid
boy.
cooling process is critical.
Eventually,
It halts the
eventually,
cooking
I feel
and
like.
prevents the peanuts from losing too much oil.
Not, maybe not on YouTube, though. I don't think anybody watches YouTube live.
Next, the peanuts go through a machine called the blancher,